Okay, hello everybody. Give us 1 second while we get set up. We have a lot of people who want to join us on screen for questions, so this is great. We have a huge number of people. I can see that everyone's got a lot of interesting questions here. First, let me pull up my co-speakers if I can find them on this list. Wow. Bear with me. A lot of folks want to come on screen, which is great. A lot of interest in rhinos today. Okay, maybe they haven't. Here's Marcus. Okay. We're just waiting to get a couple folks up on stage. Hello, Sandra. Hello, Antoinette.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, thank you.
We're well.
Sandra, where are you calling from?
From Los Angeles, California.
Excellent. And how about you, Antoinette?
New York City.
All right. How are things out in New York City?
We don't know yet.
We don't know. Too soon to tell. All right. So bear with me. I'm trying to get the other conservationists up on screen, but we're having some struggles here. Mark or Marcus, if you can hear me, please request to come up on screen so I can add you. Might take a minute. But why don't you, I see Petronel's joining us. Marcus, excellent. Sandra, do you have a question for the team?
I don't. I'm just here to listen and learn.
Perfect. How about you, Antoinette?
I'm here to listen.
Excellent. Okay. So, Petronel, we did have one more question from the previous session that was for you, and it was about COVID. And this year, given the pandemic, how has your work at Care for Wild been impacted by the pandemic? I think people would love to hear a little bit more about some of the challenges you've had and some of the perhaps needs you have as a result of all of this.
Yes, thank you for the question, whoever sent it to me, and what a privilege to join you guys like this. I must say, here on the farm, it's a cold day. It was first very hot and then colder. So if I think about COVID, things really happened fast. So for us, we had to think about the fact that it's winter time in South Africa. So we lost a lot of the volunteers that normally comes to South Africa and volunteer here and help with the rhinos and so on. So that immediately all those people had to fly back to their countries. So we were sitting in a lockdown situation where I asked the workers here or the guards to stay the full time and not necessarily go home when they have their days off. But if you think about the guards on the farm and the APU members, they anyway are on duty for 23 days. So the first lockdown in South Africa was basically just over that time. So it was a little bit normal, and then what we've decided to do is ask them to stay and then do training during the rest of the time when they were here. And then there was another lockdown. So at first we wrote all the SOPs, and then we cleaned more, and then we feed, and then we had a Care for Wild school, and we had the Care for Wild Pilates, so and do a lot. And for us, the personnel, the staff here got to do a lot more actually. But what I want to say is we were very worried that we will not necessarily be able to order some of the food. And
Uh-oh, I think we may have lost Petronel. She might be having an internet connection. Okay, we'll wait for her to come back online. But hello, Linda. How are you doing?
Well,
Good. I see
early
that
in the morning for me, but we're doing okay.
it is early indeed. But thanks for
Can you
joining
guys still hear me?
Oh, there she's back.
us.
Or-
Maybe not. So I think we've lost her. These are the challenges of virtual conferences. Petronelle, I think you're back now, but we've lost Marcus.
We lost Marcus for a second there. Yeah, so I must say, with some of the questions that we're always getting is how many orphans do we have? And I can tell you guys, it is as many rhinos as Ian Player saved the white rhino from extinction. So we now have a viable population of rhinos to take us into the next generation. So we need to look after them as best we can in security, in nutrition, in range expansion. So we're very, very grateful for all the help and the Paul, you and your team with the Wildlife Conservation Virtual Expo. It's unbelievable to give us this platform. And I see there's another question that just came up is how many babies did we save during this COVID period? We saved 5. At first was Little Anchor, then came Easter, then came Cotton, and then Ranger, and now the last one is Limshiu. So we didn't sleep a lot because it's like normal babies. You have to sometimes feed every second hour through the night. So they're amazing animals. They look like little dinosaurs that came out of eggs when they're born. So it's such a privilege to work with them.
Petronelle, I'm hoping Mark is going to find his way in to join us. But for now, we received a question earlier about whether you have any ideas on the best way to educate people and spread sort of the conservation message for rhinos outside of South Africa and kind of beyond the African continent to places like the US and China. Do you have any sort of any advice on best ways to do that sort of global education?
You know, like I say, we received a lot of volunteers, and every person is an ambassador for nature and for conservation. So the more we talk about this and the more we teach our children, the more we approach every single decision that we make in our houses to serve nature and conservation, I think the better it will be. So we must feed the birds. We must, look after them. And so I can carry on. We must look after the water. And, and we mustn't just cut trees down and so on. So if I think about an approach, every single person must realize rhinos belong to the world. We don't want to come to South Africa to see the big four or to see no animals. And to be this ambassador myself every day and seeing and getting a lot of emails and trying on our social media platforms, it's Care for Wild, and trying to show the fun in conservation as well. It is for everyone to get involved in this. So I cannot tell you how much fun it is to be involved in conservation.
Excellent. Thank you. So we want to, there's a few more questions. I'm just going to throw those to you, Petronelle. You're doing a fantastic job fielding all the questions as we want your colleagues here. I don't know where they are. They're lost in cyberspace. I see Marcus is popping up. And we've lost Linda. Linda did have a question, and Marcus, while you're here, maybe you could address it. Are you familiar with San Diego Zoo's efforts to recover northern white rhinos? And could you speak to that?
Marcus, can you hear the question?
Uh-oh. Okay, Marcus might be having some audio issues. technical difficulties. These things happen.
Hey, Paul.
Christina, welcome. I
Hi.
can see
Yeah,
hear
good
you.
to see you as well.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, thanks.
Good.
I see you had a question that in the chat. Do you want to pose it to us here?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Petronelle. Thank you so much for all the amazing work that you do. Just truly inspiring. And anyhow, I had a question about the rhino farmers and the whole movement of rhino farming in South Africa. And I wanted to know, in your opinion, and of course Marcus's opinion as well, how does that impact efforts to save rhinos and to increase the population of rhinos not only in South Africa, but worldwide?
Rhino farming, I first need to just answer it in a specific way. Just to give a little bit of my background, I've been in the Endangered Species Protection Unit. So to see a lot of rhinos dying and being murdered and so on does give you a perspective of what are we going to do to basically move to a more positive way, or to a situation where we can take hands and find solutions. So saying this, there's not one solution specifically. I think people sometimes mean things well, but then it turns out that they go the other way and that it's not working out for them. Effectively, we want to rewild rhinos back into their natural habitat. But if you think about South Africa and the private rhino owners, because of the situation with land, Christina, there's more and more land that's going agricultural. So our thing there is, so there's less and less land for rhinos or other animals. So if I think about the problems here, because I live here, I wish we can find every single solution. Some of these people love their rhinos, but now suddenly they need to look after them as well, and they need to save a species from extinction. So in all of this, we need to take hands and say, how can we also support the private rhino owners? And understanding this more, because what I found is maybe something that you don't even know that I'm going to answer you now on is, if you have more rhinos and more confined situations, rhinos must have territory. The bulls will fight if there's no territory. So unfortunately, if I think about these things, I think some of these people mean well in farming, but I'm not sure if they really meant to farm. Look, reproduction will take place. But what we found is some animals coming in with wounds is not because it's because of wounds that's inflicted by another rhino as well, because the bull is fighting the youngster away to mate with the mom. So let's go back to the farming question. I hope people don't have to farm them as that. I hope we can have more of them in their natural habitat. But because of less space, these things are busy happening, and then there's nutritional problems as well. So intensive is never a good idea. We need to work extensive. But reproduction is important because we need more black rhino in South Africa, and we need more white rhino. I hope that helps a little bit, Christina. And afterwards, if you want to email me, you can also talk more.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Marla, welcome on screen. Do you have a question for Petronelle?
No, I'm just watching.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so Petronelle, I saw another good one. Hold on, let me find it. There's a lot of great questions coming in, fast and furious.
Yeah, Paul, I saw one coming in about the syndicates. And I would love to tell, I see there's lots of goals here, so I love this chat place. So do remember, because of my work in the Endangered Species Protection Unit and the undercover work there, the syndicates nowadays are vicious people. They're very well organized. So they're not only going for rhino horn, they also cash in high situations. There's robberies, there's break-ins, rape take place, murders take place. So the rhino horn syndicates are very well organized crime syndicates. So we have to know much more about these things. We have to do much more crime intelligence, and we have to also have people and technical sites, people, boots on the ground, dogs, mounted units, cameras, so many more to stop these criminals from taking the heritage from us.
Ooh, I have a little bit of apologies. But Petronelle, tell us a little bit about what your needs are in 2021. Where do you see things going next year, and what are some of the challenges you're anticipating, and some of your core needs?
You know, the core needs will always be, firstly, to rescue rhinos. And to rescue each and every rhino that's in need of rescuing as soon as we can. Then after that, the rehabilitation process is also to do with range expansion in areas where it's safe. Then taking hands with communities and making sure that we train people, we look after people. We have a beautiful, beautiful project going on, and I hope people will go to our website also to see that where Mark and Gunyama spoke a little bit about that is how important it is to empower communities to be employable in their environment. So we receive some seedlings from people. So we need to be sustainable in our model going towards 2021 and have soft fences where the fences, people that understand the value of the nature and the conservation areas and do give them opportunities for jobs and to sustain themselves. So saying all these things is 2021 is a year that we look forward in taking hands in a sustainable way with our communities to save rhinos, to save people, to have a better future for all of us.
Fantastic. And it often seems, especially with rhinos and the work you're doing with these survivors of the poaching crisis, that against a backdrop of climate change and political instability and now COVID, like how do you seem like you have such great energy and hope. And so how do you maintain that hope?
You know, you have to be, if you take this torch and walk with it, you have to be a strong-willed person, and you must understand where you're going to. This is a journey to stop the iconic species from extinction. And this is a keystone species, and we live with this keystone species. So if I think about every day and see how privileged I am to work with these species and talk to people that love the species and wants to make a difference, what fuel my energy is, Paul, these things that you guys also give us a platform to tell to people, don't be depressed with all the bad news. Just make better decisions every day and how you're going to approach what you do and what you can do to make the world a better place. Rewild the world, you know. Take a moment and see the beauty of what we're busy doing here. We're busy saving iconic species, a keystone species, and then the rest is water, land, people, children. It's empower model that we're following, and I hope people understand how I see this. So Paul, I hope I answered you there. It's a wonderful world we live in, and we must look after it.
Petronella, I think that is a perfect message to end on. Unfortunately, we are at time, and I don't want people to miss our next sessions. If you head over to the blue stage, folks can watch sharks and rays, and then on the green stage, our lions in Kenya with the Walk the Lions. Petronella, thank you so much for standing in, representing your colleagues who are lost in the ether. Who is still with us, thank you so much for tuning in. This is exactly the type of work we're supporting through the Rhino Recovery Fund. And as a reminder, if you support the Rhino Recovery Fund, 100% of your donation goes directly to projects like Petronella's Care for Wild and their incredible work rewilding these rhinos. Thank you, Petronella. Thanks so much for all the time taken to join us today. And we'll leave it at that until next time.
Excellent. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, audience.
Bye, everybody.